Do you know what? Things are changing. The world is actually changing. The girlies, they don't want to hear about your 1200 calories a day diet. They don't want to hear about how you lost 50 pounds to fit into a dress in 1 week. We don't care anymore. Hi, my name is Scola and you are just delightful. You really are. Okay guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about how it's actually working. We are actually making a change and it's actually really exciting to see. So really I just want to have a chat about my observations of body positivity movement, how we've changed the way we look at health and fitness, the diet industry and everything like that, and how things are actually genuinely shifting. Before we get into the video, if you like my energy, if it feels right, please do hit that subscribe button and the bell button so you get notified when I do upload. I haven't actually had a subscriber goal in such a long time, but it'd be really nice to hit 250,000. That would be really lovely. I have my 100,000 subscriber plaque back there. I got it back in like 2012. So it'd be nice to hit a new milestone just cause we love to gaslight, gatekeep and girl boss here. Also make sure you comment down below and join the discussion. Honestly, it's just so enriching hearing you guys' opinions as well and what you think of the topic in the video. Anyway, so what inspired this video is recently we had the Met Gala and two ladies came out to speak about their diet or their habits in the lead up to the event. So first of all, we had Kim Kardashian, who in an interview said that she lost 16 pounds in order to fit into her dress for the Met Gala. And then a few weeks later, we also had Lori Harvey coming out to say that she was actually eating 1,200 calories a day and exercising 5 to 6 times a week. No, 5 to 6 days a week. And that is how she achieved her abs. Like her abs were banging at their Met Gala. Like her dress was just like, look at these abs, you're gonna look at these abs. But I have to say the reaction to this was really interesting because the reaction was very different to how it would have been quite a few years ago. And I am also going to be speaking about Beyonce and her Beychella diet. Do not come for me. I am not going to be coming for Beyonce, please. Before any of the Beehive come and be like, what are you saying about Beyonce? But I am going to be diving deep into Beyonce's diet in the lead up to Coachella. In the documentary film Homecoming, which is on Netflix, she has a whole section where she talks about how she was eating and her training in the lead up to Coachella. And I'm going to be talking about the reaction to that versus the reaction to these two ladies and why they might be different, and just look at the different nuances because I feel like there's so much more to this that we don't really speak. I do like to look at things a very balanced way, so I'm not going to necessarily be hating on Lori and Kim either. I'm just going to be looking at it from different sides. So first of all, let's talk about Kim. So Kim Kardashian came out and said that she lost 16 pounds in 3 weeks to fit into Marilyn Monroe's dress for the Met Gala. So the issue with this is, first of all, it is just not healthy for a woman of her size to lose 16 pounds in 3 weeks. I am not saying it is impossible because I have seen this happen before, especially for people who are on the larger side. If you embark on a health and fitness journey, just the drastic changes, you can lose a lot of weight, but that might not necessarily be fat. It can also be water weight and other things happening to your body to cause that decrease in the number on the scale, because weight loss is very different to fat loss. If you're just looking for weight loss, you could be losing muscle, you could be losing water, all kinds of things. Whereas if you're going for fat loss, you're targeting actual fat. That is a completely different ball game. So whether Kim Kardashian lost 16 pounds of fat or weight, we won't really know, but that is what she said that she lost. Like I said, if you're on the larger side and you have a lot more excess fat to lose, you can lose larger amounts of weight in a short amount of time. So that is totally possible. But it's less possible the smaller you get for you to actually lose that much weight, because your body's going to be fighting to hold on to any sort of fat that it needs to actually help the body function. And Kim is already very small, she's very petite. To lose 16 pounds from her small frame was a lot. Now, of course, people have been alleging that she's been reversing her BBL that she's had for many years. Allegedly. I ain't trying to get sued. That could have also been a part of it, like she just probably went and got some stuff dumped out her butt to make sure she can fit into the dress. But the overall reaction was, why would you say that and why would you do that? It is just such an unhealthy practice to put so much into losing weight just to fit into a dress. Now, I understand the Met Gala is a big deal, and I can only imagine as a celebrity going to the Met Gala, the scrutiny you would be under, you'd feel so much pressure to change yourself and go to the extremes. But at the same time, I have to say, Kim is in a position that she can be a change maker. If she wanted to be a change maker and decided she wanted to be whatever, potentially she could make really positive changes, but instead she did decide to go along with the old school narrative of literally killing yourself to look good for one occasion, just one occasion, one night, because best believe straight after that she went back to her usual routine, whatever that might be. The issue is this is so damaging because the more people speak about these sort of diets, these crash diets that they go through, these extreme weight loss and transformations, it encourages that method to other people who are in a desperate state trying to make changes in their lifestyle to reach some kind of goal. And that is my only issue with it. She didn't necessarily have to come out and say that's what she did to get into this dress, even if that's what she did. I just feel like she could have kept it to herself. I do sympathize with people in the public eye and understand that they're under so much scrutiny. I mean, I can only understand to a very small degree. Me personally, I've experienced that scrutiny with my body. Like now, not so much, and that is how I've noticed things have changed quite a lot. But a few years ago when I was gaining weight quite rapidly, the comments were just ruthless and they literally tore me down. I think last year actually I had my first public breakdown on my Insta stories because somebody said something about my weight and I was just done. And actually that is part of the reason why I've pivoted away from certain content and now you just see me sitting here talking to you guys, because constantly having your body under attack is just so exhausting. But that being said, I do feel like things have changed quite a bit. Now let's talk about Lori Harvey. Let's talk about Lori Harvey. That girl, she had the fellas quaking. Honestly, we can all just wish that we can be like her. She's gone out with some of the fittest men. The fittest men. Oh my goodness. And now she's with Michael B. Jordan. Where do you go from there? So Lori recently went viral online, on Twitter specifically is where I personally saw it, but I know she also was posting to her Instagram, I believe, or was it her TikTok? Things just blew up. That's all I know. It's always so hard to find the source of where things have come from once they've blown up and gone viral. But basically, people kept hounding Lori about her body at the Met Gala. So this wasn't actually unprovoked. This was very much a provoked video she had to make because she kept getting asked, like, how do you get that body? Like, how do you look like that? Please tell us your routine, drop the diet, blah, blah, blah. So in this case, it's not like Kim, who just came out and said it and was almost wanted people to be amazed by her, impressed by her, that she basically starved herself. Lori was sort of forced into opening up about it. So she came out to say that she was eating 1,200 calories max a day and she was training 5 to 6 days a week. And she'd been doing Pilates for about a year prior to the Met Gala. She really enjoyed it, but she said that she was also doing an additional amount of cardio a day, whether that's hiking, walking on the treadmill, and various other exercises in order to get the body that she had at the Met Gala. As much as there was a lot of backlash, there was also a lot of defending her. And this is where it's so clear how much misinformation there is when it comes to nutrition and diet. Now, Lori did come out and say, she said, I didn't say you guys had to do this. This is just what worked for me and my body. But the issue is, she said she was eating 1,200 calories. Now, anybody in the health and fitness space who has ever tried a diet has probably heard of this magic calorie number. Her saying that came out as if she was following that old school diet of eating 1,200 calories and expecting that to work for everybody. Spoiler alert, 1,200 calories is a very small amount, and that is the backlash she received. People just saying that's not sustainable, that's not right. But on the other hand, we've had people defending her and saying she is only somewhere between 5'2" to 5'4". So based on her activity levels, etc., 1,200 is actually a normal deficit for somebody of her age size. I would argue with that and say most adults would need to eat way more than that. 1,200 is about what a toddler would need to eat to sustain. And this is coming from somebody who's eaten 1,200 calories on a regular basis. On a regular basis, I was eating 1,200 calories when I first got into health and fitness because the information just wasn't readily available. So at the time, that's what I was doing. And I know what it feels like. And I can tell you right now, it is not enough food for anyone. And I did that when I was virtually a child. Like, we forget teenagers are still kids and I was eating 1,200 calories a day and I was exhausted. Soon enough, I started to eat way more and found a point that really worked for me. But even then, I'm still learning more about nutrition and finding out what works best for me, because your body is constantly evolving and changing. I'm no registered dietitian or nutritionist, so I can't really speak on her diet, but I can speak on her training as a PT. And I can say that when it comes to the training, I know she was probably going all out and was pushing herself more than the average and normal person really needs to. Now, if she truly enjoys this lifestyle, then go for it, because it's all about what is sustainable and that you can do for a long term. And the only reason I would say that possibly this isn't sustainable for her is because she mentioned how she gained around 15 pounds when she first got with Michael B. Jordan. I wouldn't call him Michael, but I'm just not that familiar with him. And we kept seeing them on Instagram, all lovey-dovey, traveling everywhere, living their best life. But then once that sort of phase was over, now she's gone back to being in a certain routine and being a bit more strict. Now, whether that also includes the balance where she's still allowed to enjoy her relationship, enjoy her life in the way that she was when she first got with Michael B. Jordan, that is where I'd only question whether it is sustainable. That being said, Michael himself has quite an active lifestyle. Guys, I'm starting to sound like one of those celebrity news reporters who knows too much about celebrities' lives. But trust me, I'm good. There is a point to this. We're gonna get to it. I don't want to sound like I'm literally E-News right now, but I feel like I'm E-News and it's really making me cringe. But anyway, Michael is very active himself. He's trained for movies such as Creed, where you have to get in phenomenal shape. I mean, boxers in general have to do extreme diets just to be able to fit within a certain weight class, just to look a certain way. And then also he was in Black Panther and many other movies as well. I actually have first-hand experience with one of his training schedules that he had, the type of training he was doing. Okay, so he was in the movie Without Remorse, and I was actually lucky enough to do an ad for this movie with Amazon Prime, because that's where the movie was premiered. So in Without Remorse, Michael B. Jordan plays a Navy SEAL, and Navy SEALs training is intense. So for a day, I had to go through special ops training and I was going through it, but I did really well. I feel like I actually really enjoyed it. I mentioned in a previous video that I just live for survival stuff. Like, throw me up a mountain, do anything with me, I will just try to smash it. Like, I love those sort of challenges, those physical challenges that push you to the limit. I love that kind of stuff. And so I already know that he trains very hard, specifically for his roles. Like, we got to speak to his trainer as well, and he went through his whole routine. So as a couple, it may be sustainable for her to keep up that level of training, just because the way their lives are led, they have to train, whether that be for movies. Her personally, she's probably training more for events and that kind of thing. And this is where I want to get into the conversation of, should we just separate ourselves from celebrities when it comes to body image and when it comes to their health and fitness routines, and start seeing them as something different? And when I started to think of this is when I was looking back to Beyonce and her Beychella diet. So if you guys didn't know, for Coachella, Beyonce had just given birth to the twins, so she was trying to get back into the shape. She didn't feel the same way she did before that certain pregnancy, and then so she embarked on a journey of trying to get back to her prior level of fitness, basically. But the diet she followed was basically a vegan keto diet. That is the idea I got from it. And actually, I tried the Beychella diet a few years ago. I'll leave a link to that video down below. I'm not gonna lie, I felt amazing on that diet. I felt so good. And the thing is, when it comes to diets, yes, there's definitely bad diets where the nutrients just aren't there. But there are also diets that sound extreme, but if they work for somebody, they work for somebody. And that really worked for me, but it just wasn't sustainable long term, because I'm a human and I like to eat a variety of different things, and vegan keto just is very intense. If you want to find out more about what she was eating and that kind of thing, I'll leave a link to that video down below. So Beyonce Beyonce had to lose a lot of weight. She was exhausted, she was tired. But when it came to Beyonce, she didn't get that much backlash at all. There was a bit of conversation online of like people saying, don't try this diet, this is very extreme, you know, you can't really do this. Like, at least Beyonce was being monitored and all these kind of things. And it got me thinking, it's different for Beyonce, because I would put Beyonce in another realm, in another category of being close to an athlete. I personally wouldn't expect myself to train like an athlete because I'm not an athlete. So why do we expect ourselves to train like celebrities when none of our lives, our jobs require us to look a certain way or be a certain way? Now, there's definitely an argument to say that we should change the standards, and as a whole, even celebrities shouldn't be held up to these impossible standards. But before that shift happens, because I feel like that shift is going to take a long time, because cosmetic surgery is on the rise, we've still got new body trends coming in, still unattainable beauty standards that are out there. And so before that full change comes, though it is coming, because look at how we have a zero tolerance to any kind of extreme diet now. If somebody comes out saying, you know, I've lost weight like this, I've done this, and if it's unhealthy, then they're going to get backlash. Whereas a few years ago, they would have been celebrated. They would have been seen as somebody higher than anybody else because they managed to have the willpower, the strength to be able to lose this weight, to follow this diet, to follow this training schedule. Whereas now it's a bit like, no, baby, you don't need to do all of that. Like, that's a bit extreme. That's a bit much. Like, can we just tone it down a bit? Like we did not come here to suffer. We came here to have a good time. Yeah, we as humans have set up all these structures that just enforce us to suffer and to chase these ideals that just actually, you won't even be happy once you get there. Because if you ask Lori Harvey if she was actually truly happy doing that, she probably wasn't. She was probably happier when she was on a yacht with her hot ass boyfriend, eating whatever she wanted, doing whatever she wanted. Now, of course, she said she felt really bad at the time because she couldn't fit into her dresses and all of this kind of stuff. But if she'd had a different mindset and actually saw the joy and the love that she was experiencing, and that it was the cause of her weight gain, but because we associate weight gain with such negative connotations, she probably couldn't allow herself to be like, yes, I can just enjoy myself, because I thought she looked great, like 15 pounds heavier, and I also think she looks great 15 pounds lighter. Like, either way, I really do feel like it's getting to a point where we need to separate ourselves from this weird world of celebrities and create our own world. And I feel like we are creating our own world. I feel like influencers have kind of helped with this. I mean, I know influencers get a lot of flack. There are a lot of influencers that try to emulate celebrity rather than creating their own standards. But the really cool thing is that there are many influencers that have created their own standards, and that's where the body positivity movement came in. And whilst that is getting a little bit of a negative backlash now, because now we're like, do you know what? I don't have to love my body all the time. I'd rather just feel neutral about it and just accept my body. And that's why body neutrality is coming in now too, as well as body positivity. We have set our own standards. And the really beautiful thing is I'm also seeing this with new platforms such as TikTok, where on a daily basis, I just see regular people that look like me. And it's so funny because I have heard that there is a double-edged sword here, where you will see girls who are just so beautiful and just so unattainable, and their bodies are insane. Like, sometimes I be looking at some of these girls, I'm like, are you real? Like, you actually were just born like that and you look like that. And it can make me feel bad about myself, but at the same time, I feel like I've curated an online space of people that I follow that make me feel really good about myself, because now I've seen what it could look like, and I'm like, she looks banging. Why don't you think you are banging? And why are you always picking yourself apart when you look to these people, you think they look great? Like, just think you look great too. But interestingly as well, I want to talk about how men come into this as well. Now, we still live in a patriarchy, and in some ways, I'm not very clued up when it comes to this sort of topic, so I won't pretend I know a lot when it comes to the patriarchy and how they affect the beauty standards. But it goes without saying that if we want to change beauty standards, we also need the men to be on board to make these changes as well, because no matter how much we scream about loving ourselves and accepting our bodies, if we've still got men being negative and being horrible and not accepting women's bodies in all their forms as well, we've still got a problem, because we're still in a patriarchy. So it's also interesting that I've seen a shift with men as well, openly talking about how they find different types of bodies attractive. And yes, there's still a lot of negative narrative around women's bodies when it comes to men, like their preferences can be wild. But also I saw recently, there's this picture that's been going viral around, and it's like just a cartoon drawing of a girl in a skirt, and she's got a fupa. A fupa, everyone loves talking about a fupa. And everyone's been like, this is the sexiest thing. Like, this is the sexiest thing. And I saw that and I was like, what? This is going viral, like a fupa, the same thing that people kill themselves to get rid of. People are celebrating it and saying it's the sexiest thing when you have that little stomach. And the funniest thing is, this is how we know we're still in patriarchy, because years ago, I want to say over 10 years ago now, I was at my aunt's, what was it, her bridal shower, which, do you know what? I didn't need to be there. I did not need to see my aunties and my mum with penis straws. I didn't need to see that, but I was there. I was there. I remember her talking about her stomach, and she was like, yeah, I've lost a little bit of weight for the wedding, but do you know what? I don't even care that I still have the stomach. Like, it's sexy, like having a little something here is sexy. And I remember her grabbing her stomach and like grabbing her fat, and me just being like, I was deep into my Tumblr days of like wanting to be as small as possible. And I remember how that was such a positive message for me. And I was like, what? You think that's, and from that day on, I didn't feel as insecure about my stomach, because I was like, my aunt said it's sexy. And obviously as somebody that I looked up to, it was like really, really nice to hear that this thing that I'd always thought was bad was sexy. I'm annoyed at myself for still wanting to hear that validation from men, but unfortunately I am attracted to men. I have no other choice. And I still live in a patriarchy. If I see this thing going viral and men saying, we find this attractive, it is mind-blowing to me, but also I feel like it is positive, because they are the other half of our society. So we need everyone to be more positive about different body shapes. And so I do really feel like, you know, the narrative around bodies is changing. It's gonna be more about individuals. And I see that on TikTok all the time. I'm seeing so many new styles and vibes and bodies, and I'm appreciating so many new and different things and being exposed and open to it. Because before, even on Instagram, unfortunately, there was still a beauty standard, a new beauty standard created by Instagram. But I feel like on TikTok, as much as there is still that element of like the stereotypical beauty standards, we're also seeing new types where I'm seeing super curvy girls, and we're seeing like super skinny girls being celebrated, and girls with like cellulite and everything being, sorry, my camera gave up on me because I've been talking for so long, but seeing girls being able to be celebrated in all their shapes and sizes. I feel like we're getting there. We've done it. We've done it, and it's really refreshing for me. I know you guys have, if you guys have been watching my last few videos, I've been really nostalgic for the 2010s and everything I went through as a teenager, and how I felt so much pressure to look a certain way that just did not align with how my body naturally needed to be and how I wanted to live my life. It's so cool to be getting to a point where I'm like, everyone is just beautiful. And we can all feel beautiful. Like, I already knew everyone was beautiful, and I came to this conclusion a long time ago. But then also that we're getting to a point where maybe everyone can feel that way, and we won't put one body on a pedestal over the other. I mean, I know I recently made a video about body trends and how now still a slim body trend is coming in, and possibly the K-pop idol look is going to be coming in. But at the same time, even if that becomes something mainstream, I feel like there's still going to be that pushback and that backlash, to the point where we're still going to be celebrating ourselves and us as individuals, and actually looking at the beauty of each individual person rather than a collective and saying this is the standard. So I just thought I'd chat about that. I felt like I got so serious with this one, but I just really want to chat about it because I found it so interesting, the reaction to Laurie and Kim, and how people just weren't having it anymore. Whereas before, you would have seen people rushing to try their diets, rushing to try their exercise routines, and magazines and outlets outlets like celebrating their bodies, whereas now when I did a quick Google of these two women and their diets that they did for the Met Gala, we're seeing the magazines talking about how this isn't good, this isn't healthy, how we shouldn't follow it. And that is so refreshing to see that that's the change of narrative, and that we're not like celebrating that kind of extreme methods. Do you know what I mean? And I just think it's really cool. I mean, you guys let me know if you feel the same way. I feel like obviously there is still a pocket of people and a lot of people who are still celebrating that. The voice of the people trying to do good is getting louder and louder, and I feel like there's a lot of really good change coming. And I feel like the pandemic in some ways has also really helped with that, because we were all at home and all in the same place for so long. We realized that putting people on pedestals for these random things was so silly. And we realized the most important thing is just to feel happy and secure and healthy. And I feel like that shift has really helped with making sure going forward that with diet culture and the health and fitness industry and the weight loss industry, we're just going to be more positive about it. Because at the end of the day, we've seen that the most important thing is health, and we have to put that above everything. Health and mental health is the most important thing. And we really felt that when we could only go for one walk a day. It's really cool. I'm really geeked out about this. I think it's interesting seeing the shifts, my observations, but obviously I live in a little echo chamber in my own bubble on the internet. I do try to look at so many different sides and branch out, but I do know that I've got algorithms controlling me as well, so I don't get to see everything. So I'd love to hear you guys' experience. What do you think? Where do you think we're at when it comes to this movement? Do you think we're really making changes, or do you think we're still in a place where so much more needs to be done? Which of course there always going to be lots more we need to do, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. But guys, thank you so much for listening to me rambling today. I really had fun and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.